Sally Ann, 731. This just in, as they say in the news business. Let's talk about the Pennsylvania Senate race. The latest Rasmussen Reports poll shows Republican Pat Toomey picking up 46% support, while his Democratic opponent, Joe Sestak, earns the vote from 37%.
Joe Sestak, you know him. He's not going to let up, of course. New York's Mayor Michael Bloomberg was here yesterday stumping for him. President Bill Clinton, as you know, was also pushing for him recently. So we need to ask Pat Toomey, what are the big names coming in for you?
You think I'm going to tell
First
you
of
now?
all, welcome.
You could.
Thanks for having me. I could. No, we've got a number of very prominent leaders coming in to endorse me. I'm looking forward to that. We'll be doing that mostly after Labor Day.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's nice to have the visits, and I'm sure Joe was happy to have Mayor Bloomberg, who, by the way, is a Yankees fan, so really.
There you go.
But the voters make up their own mind.
Of course, Joe did not have the president in. President Obama, of course, the president was supporting another candidate,
Yes.
Arlen Specter. But I don't know if you've seen this new GOP ad. You heard about the JetBlue flight attendant?
Yes.
It went down the chute,
Yeah,
you know, had a meltdown.
Yeah. Right.
Well, now the GOP has put out this where the president is the flight attendant of Air Force One, saying, and he's got a whole plane load of Democrats, and he says, I'm here for you if you want me to go to your district. And they start all jumping off of the airplane down the chute. So here he comes. I'm coming to your hometown. And they start jumping off the plane. You know, does he really have that negative effect, though?
Well, the president, most voters in most places, including Pennsylvania, disapprove of the president's agenda. And Joe Sestak's been in lockstep with that whole agenda. So if the president comes back and reminds everybody that Joe Sestak was with them on the bailouts and the stimulus and health care and cap and trade and card check and on, that doesn't help.
Let's show another clip. We're going to talk about the fact that these ads, first of all, your ads are all over Good Day. We say that. And Congressman Sestak has an ad where he calls you, do you want to just play it first and then we'll talk about it?
We'll listen to it.
Let's just listen to it.
Mr. Wall Street.
Before he became a politician, Pat Toomey was a Wall Street wheeler dealer. In fact, millionaire Toomey helped pioneer the use of derivatives. He called them an enormous good. But they wound up nearly destroying our economy. When he got to Congress, Toomey wrote the law to weaken oversight of Wall Street. No wonder they're funding his campaign. Pat Toomey, Mr. Wall Street, not for us.
You really getting home close to $2 million from Wall Street?
I think they're talking about over a 10-year period or something. But look, factcheck.org has gone and torn apart that ad and said it's dishonest and it's false.
Do we need to worry that you'll be in cahoots with Wall Street?
You know, here's the thing. I left Wall Street 20 years ago, literally, and I'm the guy who was opposed to the bailout of Wall Street firms. Joe was for it. So who's really the guy for Wall Street?
Can you prove that the stimulus packages didn't work, especially in Pennsylvania?
Well, I suppose you can never prove a negative, but you can use some common sense.
Where
right?
would we be if we didn't get that stimulus money, though? We could be in real
we would
trouble.
Probably have bounced back much more strongly.
Why?
Remember, we were told because borrowing and spending doesn't get you to prosperity. If that were the case, Greece would be the most successful economy in the world, right?
Well, they overstimulated themselves.
Well,
Greece.
the government, all it does is take money from private pockets and put it out in expanding government. That doesn't grow the economy. That doesn't change incentives. That doesn't make us more productive. And so it's not surprising. Japan tried this in the 90s. It didn't work. The Europeans have been doing this for years with little effect. And now we were promised that unemployment wouldn't reach 8%. It went over 10%.
Well, do you think we should extend unemployment benefits?
There are many circumstances where I think we should, and 26 weeks isn't always long enough. But I also think there have to be some limits. It can't be a permanent program. No, I think the government's got to get spending under control. We've got to stop with these policies like huge tax increases and cap and trade threats and the health care bill, which discourage people from creating new jobs and launching new businesses. The private sector can revive, but not with the kind of weight the government's imposing on it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about jobs. Sestak yesterday was in North Philly at a place where, a lot of people are talking about the fact that they're highlighting the importance of small business and the role that small businesses play in economic recovery. What would you say as far as small businesses are concerned, how we can get jobs?
Yeah, I'm a former small business guy. My brothers and I owned our own restaurant company for almost 10 years. What Joe is doing is devastating to small business. All the tax increases, all the new government programs, the mandates, the cost of health care, the energy costs. So first of all, clear the threats away, get government spending under control, make the current tax rates permanent so that businesses can plan and take risks. I would lower capital gains rates and encourage more investment, more risk-taking, more entrepreneurship. Those are the kind of things that I think will bring back small business and business in general.
Extend the Bush tax cuts?
Absolutely.
But that's not paid for.
Look, so what do you want to do? You want to raise taxes massively at a time like this? I think that makes no sense at all. And the other thing that people lose sight of sometimes is when we've lowered marginal tax rates, it expands the size of the economy. A bigger economy generates more tax revenue even with lower rates.
You think people will spend the money that they get back or just save it, hoard it?
I think people will work more, that people will launch new businesses, entrepreneurs will take a risk, they'll expand an existing business because they get to keep more of the upside if there is an upside. Incentives matter.
Okay, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. You're so far ahead in the polls, I mean, you're going to take the pressure off?
This is not in the least. This is going to be a close race right to the end.
I bet it will be, too. Thank you, sir. Get this. The class of 2014